Tatiana, 71 years old, Ukraine, Odessa. I was born in 47th year. My father was a serviceman, a frontline soldier, a full cavalier of the Order of Glory. Naturally, he wanted his daughter to be a frontline soldier. That is why, by the time I was 17, when in the Kremlin they gave me a book as a candidate member of the Communist Party, I had already become a candidate for the Master of Sports in basketball and motocross. I graduated with honors from medical school and was able to get a race scholarship to medical school. Life worked out the way my father wanted, and I was, in principle, a happy child. Until one day, in April, which was the 67th year, I was called to the party committee, and, in fact, I received an order to write an article about the fact that there was no God. Well, if he doesn't exist, why write about him? I said to the secretary of the party committee, and he said, "It's not your business to argue, you write. You write that he does not exist." Well, no, so there is no. I presumptuously sat down to write, but I don't know what to write about. I turned to Daddy. "Daddy, what's the source? What to draw upon?" Dad always taught me that if I wrote an article, I had to rely on primary sources. When I wrote scientific articles, I relied on scientific books. When I wrote party articles, Lenin, Marx, Engels. That's all understandable. But what is the primary source about God? And Daddy said, the Bible. But then something happened that I never expected. My daddy was 6'5", a very tall, strong man, and he put me in front of him and he cried. He said, "Daughter, say no. Give it up, if it's possible. God is not to be trifled with." I looked at Daddy in surprise, and I said, "Daddy, how could it be? You taught me not to give up. You helped me, I turned to you for help, and you're making me feel bad." "All right," said Daddy. "But the Bible, you can get it in the Orthodox Church or in the library." Okay, I ran to the Orthodox Church. Of course, the priest wouldn't give me a Bible. He explained for a long time that it was a very special book, that the uninitiated shouldn't touch it. Anyway, he wouldn't give it to me. And my dad got me a pass to the Gorky Library. This is the Central Children's Library where I was given a Bible from the stash. The pass was signed by the first secretary of the regional party committee. Here is my Bible today, shows. It is everywhere with me. Back then I needed a signature from the first secretary of the Communist Party Committee. They brought me this book and I flipped through it back and forth and I don't understand anything. It's also in Old Slavonic. But since I already knew more or less Latin, so something made sense to me. I read the first chapter, the creation of the world. I don't agree. Disagree, of course. Well, okay, it's a fairy tale, let it be. And then I read, Abraham gave birth to Isaac, Isaac to Jacob. I think, who are they writing this for? I'm a certified midwife. No man has ever come to me to deliver a baby, and they want me to believe that. I, in annoyance, flipped through several pages. There, in general, I was confused. It's unclear. Some wars, some Joshua, where did he come from? Time is passing. I look at the clock, the first hour has already passed, and I have another half hour left, and I don't understand anything. I think. Then I'll do what students do when they are preparing for exams. Read the beginning, then the end, and something in the middle. So, you're ready for credit. So am I, and it gets even better. Blessed are those who keep his commandments. Blessed. I remembered the word blessed. In Odessa, it's like a nickname for silly. I think, yes, it's a good book, wonderful, and I turn over a few more pages and read, Saul, Saul, how long will you persecute me? Oh, you can get hooked on that. Saul. Who is this Saul? I flipped through a few more sheets, thinking, who is he persecuting? Saul. So he's persecuting God, I wonder. And that's when I heard the voice. You know that voice? I froze. It sounded in me, and from outside, that voice came through. I was frightened. He asked, and you, Tatiana, how long will you persecute me? And I remembered my daddy said, you don't mess with God. Here we go. It had begun. I slammed the book shut in terror, but I kept my hand in the book. And here I did something I'd never allowed myself to do with any book, because I had great respect for books. I ripped out a leaf. I ripped it out and put it in the sleeve of my blouse. And I closed the book with metal clasps and handed it in.